Hailing from the cloudy planet Altair, the proud Alkari are an old race of avian hominids. Although well known for their peaceful disposition, they are fierce in combat and will rarely back out of a fight if they believe they have just cause. The Skylord rules over the flock uncontested. He is the de facto commander of all Alkari fleets, crewed by highly skilled and disciplined soldiers. Their pilots are among the finest in the galaxy. Alkari religion permeates every aspect of their culture, and their zeal can oftentimes be confused with fanaticism. They believe the God of Sky created the Alkari to gaze over every horizon, and have been driven into space to fulfill that calling. The harsh Ursa system is home to the Bulrathi, a ferocious warrior race committed to the preservation of nature. Fearless and brutal in combat, they rely on their strength to overcome opponents, while their heavily armored fleets withstand wave after wave of enemy attacks. Fiercely territorial, they are usually reluctant to strike the first blow, but they will go toe-to-toe with anyone who wanders into their domain. Their rich spiritual life revolves around the Hag, an elder who speaks for nature itself. It was the will of the Hag that pushed the Bulrathi into space, as they sought to place the entire galaxy under their protection by any means necessary. Elusive and paranoid, the Darlak of Nazin both crave and despise identity. Their shape-shifting nature puts them at odds with themselves as often as with other races, since they neither trust nor can be trusted. They constantly scheme in the shadows, while their agents hide in plain sight, gathering information to serve the purposes of the Cabal. Scavengers by nature, they pull together elements from different sources into mismatched but effective patterns. The Darlak eschew open conflict and would rather sap their enemy's strength or place them on a collision course with another race before moving in for the final blow. After ages of internal conflict and faced with dwindling natural resources on their home planet of Earth, humanity finally came together to form a consolidated government, replacing the many nations once dotting its political landscape. This new government brought unification, eroding long-held distinctions based on race, color, creed, and gender. Humanity thrived and at long last reached for the stars. Now, out of the Sol system, the human republic arises. Deep in the caves of Koldon, the insect-like Klakon evolved to form the Hive, a unified consciousness stretching from drone to queen. As such, the industrious Klakon have no individual needs, no desires, and no ambitions other than the benefit of the Hive itself. This effectively makes them tireless workers and fearless warriors, each and every one willing to give their lives for the Hive. Having nearly exhausted their home planet, the Hive has begun its galactic expansion in search of more resources and room to grow. Coexisting in a sprawling, jumbled network filled with incessant chattering voices and signals, the Meklar Combine is an artificial ecosystem of AIs from the planet Meklon. While most Meklar have distinct cybernetic bodies to allow them to interact with their environment, many reside as programs and subroutines of the main Combine cycle. Ruled by the Overseer routine, they are industrious, capable of producing infrastructure and large fleets in a very short time. But the constant buzz of opinions and endlessly iterating cycles of application requests and updates make them erratic and unpredictable. The blazing savannas of Fieras gave rise to the ruthless warriors known as the Mershan. but their hot temper almost proved to be their undoing. After years on the brink of civil war, the Mershan Empress now rules over her pride without question. Mershans are willful and independent, and their long history as hunters has shaped their culture fittingly. They see themselves as the peak of predators, and any other life form who crosses their path is regarded as fair game. They often strike out against even their closest allies just for the sport of battle. They are easily offended and will pursue relentlessly anyone they feel has slighted them, heedless of the consequences. Under the supervision of the controller at Mentar, a sprawling network of Cylon communities comprise the Quanta. Devoted to the unraveling of the mysteries of the universe, each quantum investigates independently in order to contribute to the knowledge of the whole. The Cylon are a peaceful race and only keep fleets of highly advanced warships as defensive measures. Brilliant researchers, they are often ahead in the technological race, yet seldom seem to take advantage of their superiority. Instead, they prefer to trade for new discoveries while shielding themselves from the rest of the galaxy in order to continue investigating in peace. Primal in their ways, the cold-blooded Sakra from the planet Sla seem uncouth and unenlightened to many of the other races. However, their hulking forms and rustic rituals belie an enduring memory that has helped them reach the stars. They are lorded over by the Hierarch, a long-lived progenitor, and in a very literal sense, the father to much of the brood. His main concern is for his offspring, whether acquiring colonies for them to reproduce or securing the resources necessary for their survival. It follows that the Hierarch adopts a familiar and fatherly tone towards those he regards as allies. To the Sakra, everyone is either part of the family or a hated enemy. Alone in their unique composition, the Silicoid are an ancient race of silicon-based life forms from the planet Chrysalon. Their impressively long lifespans and abysmally low birth rates have resulted in a civilization of relatively few individuals with lots of experience. The oldest among them is known as the Keystone, ruler of the Silicoid and speaker for the Crag. As outcasts among other alien races, they see other races as fleeting, temporary blurs that leave nothing behind but trouble for the Crag. It was during the darkest times of human history that the Age of the Khans dawned. All over their homeworld, civil unrest was mounting as society crumbled under the weight of deviancy, corruption, and greed. Mankind was poised to destroy itself in a tidal wave of chaos and despair when the first of the Khans rose to power. His callous rule was one of drastic measures of cullings and purges. Castes were established, dissidents were hushed, and little by little the race was forced to survive. Following his example, the Terran Khanate has continued to secure the survival of their species and now seeks to guarantee its place in the galaxy for generations to come. Born of the myriad islands of Draconis, the Ilarians are a feudal civilization with a rigid caste system and immutable gender roles. At the top of their social order sits the Grand Marshal of the Fiefdoms, a warrior of great renown who binds all the Ilarians to her will through her military prowess. Only females may enter military life at any rank. Males are relegated to the college forums, where they form the philosopher caste, always studying and pushing their race's strange mental powers to new limits. The Nolam League is a tightly knit confederacy of traders based in the Nol system. The title of Commodore of the League is the highest rank a Nolam can attain. Any trader bold or lucky enough may hold this highly sought-after position, representing the Nolams in all official affairs. The League is well known for its seemingly endless fortune, both in goods and luck. Nolams are cunning merchants and ruthless moneylenders who would rather pay off an enemy than fight them. However, their vast material wealth usually allows them to fund large fleets on short notice should they feel the need to take the field. In the depths of the otherworldly oceans of Trilar, the Trilarian shoal is governed by the Stinger, half dictator and half messianic figure. His tentacled subjects worship old gods fashioned around folk tales and cryptic mythology, whose darker undertones clash with their generally friendly disposition towards other races. They are willing to coexist with other races and rarely seek open conflict, but they are capable of quickly turning to strike when they believe it is in the will of their deities to do so.